In a recent video that we put up on TFL Classics, Brendan and I shopped around at the auction for a winter daily for me, and unfortunately in that video I didn't buy anything. Brendan got an Acura RDX, but I passed up on a Jeep XJ, Cherokee XJ, I passed up on a Wrangler JK, passed up on a Mercedes ML, and yeah, I didn't buy anything. But today I think I have a vehicle lined up that is gonna be pretty perfect, and you might be a little surprised, but probably you're not gonna be surprised at all what I found. I'm sick of driving my truck every day. I love this truck, but it's just big and clearing snow off of it sucks. And yeah, we've got a new winter vehicle for me that I think is gonna work out. It's about an hour and a half from here, so Case and I are gonna go check it out, and hopefully today's the day I'll have a new winter off-roader.
Now we're about 40 minutes away from the car that we're going to look at, and this is the kind of drive that this truck is great for, because we're driving for about an hour and a half, so it actually gets up to temp. But I've had the same problem that Alex has with his truck, where 10-15 minute drives around town, these trucks just don't get up to temp, and especially a truck with an emission system like this, it's just not great for it.
Yeah, like Case said, I mean, probably the worst thing you can do for it actually is start it up and drive it 10 minutes without letting it get up to temp and then shut it back off. I've already had emissions issues with the DEF injector with this truck a couple times, and yeah, I don't want to rip the emission stuff out because I have a warranty, but I definitely don't want to be doing those 10-15 minute drives all winter long. And also, I have a camper on the back of this truck now. Doesn't fit in many parking garages, and brushing snow off of it is a total pain. So I want something just easier to drive that gets up to temp quick, the heater can crank up quickly, and yeah.
So that way this truck can do longer trips up into the mountains or wherever it needs to go, road trips, because that's what it's actually good for. It gets good fuel economy, all that. But then we can find some kind of winter daily for you to do those short trips in. And I know you've been looking at a lot of Jeeps and Toyotas, but the thing is, and especially out here in Colorado, Jeeps and very much Toyotas, they're expensive.
They're really expensive. Yeah, I was looking at some, you know, like earlier 4Runners, and you know, they're either completely rusted out or out of my budget, or they have like 300,000 miles on them, and they're gonna need a lot of work. I was looking at Jeeps, but the Jeeps that were in my price range were TJs, and most of the TJs that I found were, again, not in great condition for the money. And then I was also looking at JKs, but same thing. The ones I could afford were the earlier 3.8 engine and not in amazing shape. Most of them needed work. So
yeah, so with the market as is, Jeeps and Toyotas, again, especially out here in Colorado, are not really gonna work. But I think we found something that's not a perfect vehicle, but it does tick the boxes that you're looking for.
It does. It's getting me all excited, and it's probably a little dumb compared to some of the other options that I had, but
we're car guys, we like a challenge.
We do like a challenge, and yeah, you could. Tommy and Case convinced me to do this, and you can probably guess what it is just on that alone.
Look, if we wanted to be practical, we'd probably put you in a Corolla, but at the end of the day, we want to do something a little outside of the box, and yeah, that it might end up being a slightly more challenging vehicle than some others, but I think it'll be
I think I'm up for the challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
There it is, Case. So here it is, and maybe you're surprised, maybe you're not, because I said Case and Tommy convinced me to do this. It's an LR3, it's a 2005, and it's got the 4.4 liter V8, and I'll tell you a little more about it as we, you know, kind of climb around it and walk around. But first I just kind of want to show you how it looks. It looks really clean. It's on KO2 tires. Headlights are clear, no paint fading or anything, you know. It's definitely an old vehicle. It's got some scuffs and scratches and a little bit of paint chips, but that's what you expect on an older vehicle. And looking at the inside, really clean interior. Obviously well cared for. It's even got the center screen up there that the old TFL LR3 did not have. Black interior, which I'm a big fan of, and yeah, I miss the old TFL LR3. So I think this is gonna be a winner for me. It's got all the terrain management stuff. It's about 100, just under 150,000 miles, I believe. And it looks really good. So I think we need to take it out for a quick spin, make sure, you know, the air suspension's working, make sure everything's functioning how it should. And if all looks good, I'm gonna be driving this home today. All right, so I got the key here. Go ahead and crank it up for the first time. System check in progress. Low coolant level, not the end of the world. We can top it up with some coolant. 147,000 miles. I thought it was 149, so that's pretty cool. A little lower than I thought. That needs to be fixed, not a big deal. And then we've got the screen up here, which I've actually never played around with because our old one didn't have this, no disc installed. So it's got some cool stuff. What I'm really curious about is the air suspension. I want to make sure that this travels up and down and does it quickly. So we'll go into our high setting here, and it is starting to rise. It has a new air compressor, but I do think it's on the original air struts. And I'm gonna actually hop out and look at it. So yeah, air suspension seems to be traveling up and down. And I know at some point I might need to put new air struts on this, but they seem to be functioning decently well right now. And that was kind of my main concern. We'll make sure low range works too. Low range selected, indicated on the dash, and it is working. So we'll go back into high, and we're in our standard height. Let's take it on a quick drive, make sure everything seems good with it. But I gotta say, so far, I think I'm loving it already.
I mean, you have to figure the nice thing about this is that this car at 150,000 miles or so for $10,000 compared to a Toyota that at $10,000 out here in Colorado is probably going to have 300,000-400,000 miles on it, that the risk profile of this versus a Toyota at that mileage is probably not that far off, considering the number of service records that can be shown for this vehicle, receipts that we have in hand, and yeah, just the fact that it's not that many miles. Sure, this isn't as reliable maybe as a Land Cruiser. Well, it's definitely not as reliable as a Land Cruiser, but it's also got a lot fewer miles, and you've got two other vehicles that you can depend on.
Yeah, exactly. I've got my K-Van, I've got my truck, so if this does start to become a little problematic, you know, it's not the end of the world if I need to park it for a little bit and figure out what's wrong with it. I just want something easy going, and yeah, like you said, Case, I kind of set myself a $10,000 budget, and for 10 grand I could get a clapped out Toyota or Jeep, or I could get one of the nicest Land Rovers out there. So yes, we'll go straight here actually. This is the most expensive LR3 in the Denver area by a couple grand, but it's the only one that has a full stack of service records. The guy who owned it before, the guy I'm buying it from, put a brand new heated windshield in it, which, you know, shows kind of the quality of work that has been done to this vehicle. They weren't skimping out on the windshield, so they probably weren't skimping out on a lot of the other maintenance too, and that in itself gives me pretty good peace of mind. Plus, V8 power. You don't get that in a Toyota or a Jeep.
Yeah, and these 4.4 liter V8s are actually pretty solid.
Yeah, we had the V8 in the old one we owned. Tommy's got an LR3 with the V6 motor right now. But yeah, I'm really liking how smooth this is driving. And yeah, 10 grand is definitely a lot for an LR3. It hurts a good bit because, you know, we bought our TFL LR3 for like 5 or 6 grand a few years ago, but values have shot up. This one's nicer than that. I'm not a fan of a tan interior, which the other ones that we've climbed around, or the ones that TFL, this is driving me nuts by the way, but I'll fix that. Yeah, the other ones that TFL have owned have been beige interiors, and that's, as silly as it sounds, a deal breaker for me. I need a black interior, and plus, a lot of service records in there. So yeah, I'm feeling good about this, and you know, maybe it's a terrible decision. Time will tell. But for now, I think this is going to be my new winter car, Case.
Well, again, as a car guy, it's fun to do something that's a little different, even if it is a bit of a challenge at some point. But yeah, again, I mean, this is a pretty solid powertrain that's in this. We've tested that theory. And the other nice thing is that this needs nothing, because the Jeeps and the Toyotas you were looking at in the $10,000 range needed, you know, some paint and body work, or they needed repairs, and this is good to go as it is. So if stuff breaks, you can budget for that.
Exactly. It's good to go, at least today. We'll see what tomorrow brings, but yeah, I'm gonna buy it, Case. We're doing it.
Nice.
We are pulling back into Boulder now. We're only a couple minutes from the office. So we made it back from Colorado Springs, over 100 miles and no check engine lights yet. So yeah, for all you people screaming about reliability, so far so good. I'm really happy with it so far. Everything's been super smooth and no issues, nothing feels off. Couple little minor issues, that ashtray thing I gotta figure out. There's an aux jack in the back, so I've got my tunes going already, but the aux input is a lot quieter than the FM, the AM, and the CD, so got to figure that out. And there's a little bit of a tapping noise above like 70 miles an hour coming from the roof, and I'm pretty sure it's just because the crossbar, not the crossbar, the side rail for the where you would put a roof rack is not super secured up front, so I think it's just tapping the bodywork, and I gotta fix that. All really minor issues, and I'm really happy with this. Like I said at the start of this, I was considering TJs, I was considering 4Runners, and this is putting a huge smile on my face, and I don't think those other vehicles would have done the same thing. So yeah, let's pull it into the office, take one more look at it, and then we'll close this video out, and I'm sure you'll be seeing a lot more of this rig. Well, we made it back to the office, and I gotta say, I am just super happy with the decision to go Land Rover. I know a lot of you are probably screaming down in the comments below telling me, what have I done? It's probably the worst decision ever, but time will tell. And I think even if I need to put a little love into this, it's worth it. It's more of an enthusiast vehicle. I think it's gonna do really well off-road, and now I'm just excited for it to snow and have a car I can drive around and not have to take my truck everywhere. Plus, Case and I can go off-roading, Tommy and I can go off-roading. The Land Rovers are multiplying. What are we, Case, up to 4 at the office now? 4 Land Rovers, so we'll have to convince everyone else. I think Andre needs one now, so we'll work on that. Thanks for watching. Check out alltfl.com so you don't miss any future content with this off-road. See you in the next video.